Hello, good morning, students. How are you doing? Are you enjoying the sessions? Fine. We will continue with the hydraulic turbines, under which we will study Francis turbine. In the last class, we have understood Pelton wheel, turbine, different main component parts, how it works, and how work done and efficiencies of Pelton wheel can be determined, for which expression also was found out. Today we will see Francis turbine. Main components you can see from this photograph of the Francis turbine. This is the draft tube. As we already told in the introduction class, in order to make it more efficient, the different shapes of draft tubes are used at the exit of the Francis turbine. Velocity triangle. As in case of Pelton wheel, here also let us assume, let R1 and R2 suffixes 1 and 2 stands for inlet and outlet respectively, right? R1, R2 radius of wheel at the inlet and outlet of vanes. V1, V2 absolute velocities of the jet at the inlet and outlet respectively. U1, U2 peripheral velocity of the vane at the inlet and outlet, peripheral velocities. VR1, VR2 relative velocities at the inlet and outlet respectively. VF1, VF2 velocities of the flow at the inlet and outlet respectively. VW1, VW2 velocities of the whirl at inlet and outlet respectively. Theta and phi tip angles or vane angles at the inlet and outlet respectively. Okay, as we did for Pelton wheel, here also three cases: beta is less than 90 degrees, beta is equal to 90 degrees, and beta greater than 90 degrees. First case, beta is less than 90 degrees. All of you can see now? Yes. Radial curved vane. This one is radial curved vane. This one is radial curved vane. Now this is the inlet. This is the inlet velocity triangle, and this is the outlet velocity triangle. So we may not be able to see with this color with that background. We will take red color. Okay. This is the inlet velocity triangle and this is the outlet velocity triangle. The water is entering, jet of water is entering with absolute velocity V1 at the inlet radially. Therefore, this is U1, this is U1 here, this component is U1, this is VW1, that is velocity of whirl, horizontal component in the direction of flow will be V1 cos alpha, and this is Vf1 perpendicular to the direction of flow of absolute velocity Vf1, velocity of flow. Vr1 is the relative velocity. Similarly, these components at exit V2 here is equal to Vf2, Vr2, U2. So when the veins are very smooth and jet enters smoothly at the inlet, Vr1 is equal to Vr2, U1 is equal to U2. Okay. Now R1 and R2, here R1 and R2, R1 and R2 are the radius. This is the bucket or wheel. This is the tangent at outlet. This is the tangent at inlet. This line is tangent to the bucket at inlet. This is the tangent line at the outlet. Beta is greater than 90. When beta is greater than 90, that is the second case. In that case also velocity diagram, inlet velocity diagram or triangle, outlet velocity triangle. Only thing is beta value, there it was less than 90, therefore it was taken beta. Here it is greater than 90, therefore the figure is in the velocity triangle figure, the line is changing, showing the beta greater than 90. Could you understand? Okay. Beta is greater than 90 degrees here. All of you can see? Fine. R1, R2, radius. Now in this velocity triangle, V1 is the absolute velocity, Vf1 is the velocity of flow. Here velocity of flow, Vw1 is the whirl velocity, Vr1 is the relative velocity, alpha theta are the vane angles, theta and phi are the vane angles, alpha and beta are the jet angles. Alpha is at inlet, beta is at outlet. Similarly, vane angle theta is at inlet and phi is the vane angle at outlet. Now, further, uniform velocity at inlet and outlet tip vane. U1 is equal to pi d 1 n 60. That is the velocity of plate or vane. U2 is equal to pi d2 n by 60, where d1 dia of the wheel at the inlet, d2 is the dia of the wheel at the outlet, n is speed in rpm, that is 60 f by p. M is equal to m into v, angular momentum. Force exerted by the jet on the bucket when beta is less than 90 degrees, force exerted in the direction of motion. Fx is the force in the direction of motion. Rate of change of momentum in the same direction, but in this case momentum is angular momentum. Therefore, Fx, the force exerted in the direction of motion, is equal to mass of water striking the vane per second multiplied by change in velocity, that is nothing but initial angular momentum minus final angular momentum. So capital M is equal to m into v. Angular momentum is equal to small m multiplied by v multiplied by r. V is the velocity, m is the mass multiplied by r is radius as shown in this figure. Next, force exerted by jet on the bucket when beta is less than 90 degrees. Angular momentum is equal to momentum multiplied by radius. Momentum per second at the inlet is equal to mass per second multiplied by velocity component in tangential direction, that is equal to rho a v1 multiplied by vw1. Momentum per second at the outlet in the similar way, mass per second multiplied by velocity component in the tangential direction is equal to rho a v1 multiplied by minus vw2. This minus sign is because of in the opposite direction to the direction of flow. Angular momentum at inlet is equal to rho a v1 multiplied by vw1, that is momentum per second, multiplied by r1. Angular momentum at outlet is equal to rho a v1 multiplied by minus vw2 multiplied by r2. Therefore, Fx, force exerted in the direction of flow, mass of water striking the vane per second multiplied by initial angular momentum minus final angular momentum. Therefore, Fx is equal to rho a v1 multiplied by vw1 r1 minus of rho a v1 multiplied by minus vw2 multiplied by r2. If you simplify this equation, rho a v1 whole multiplied by vw1 r1 plus vw2 r2. Since beta is less than 90 degrees, you will get inside the bracket plus sign, minus of minus, minus into minus, plus. When beta is greater than 90, Fx rho a v1 whole multiplied by vw1 r1 minus vw2 r2. Here it is plus, here it is minus, because the velocity of whirl at outlet is in the same direction of flow at the inlet. In general, we can write the expression as force exerted in the direction of flow Fx is equal to rho a v1 whole multiplied by vw1 r1 plus or minus vw2 r2. Plus sign should be used when beta is less than 90. Minus should be used when beta is greater than 90. When beta is equal to 90, radial discharge at outlet. Then the force exerted in the direction of flow Fx is equal to rho a v1 vw1 r1, because vw2 will become 0. Therefore, the component vw2 r2 within the bracket vanishes, left with only vw1 r1. Clear? Now, further, work done per second is equal to, we know that force exerted in the direction of flow, that is Fx multiplied by angular velocity omega, which is equal to rho a v1 multiplied by vw1 r1 plus or minus vw2 r2 is the Fx value multiplied by omega. Rho a v1 x vw1 omega r1 plus or minus vw2 omega r2. Take this w inside the bracket along with vw1 r1 and vw2 r2. But we know u1 velocity of plate, w1 is equal to u1 is equal to w r1 and u2 is equal to w r2. U1 is equal to WR1, that is omega R1, and U2 is equal to omega R2. Work done per second becomes equation or expression rho A V1 multiplied by VW1 U1. In place of W or omega R1, you have to take U1. In place of omega R2, you can take U2. Therefore, rho A V1 multiplied by VW1 U1 plus or minus VW2 U2 Newton meters per second is the work done. Power is equal to rho A V1 multiplied by VW1 U1 plus or minus VW2 U2 Newton meters per second or watts. When beta is equal to 90 degrees, that is radial discharge at the outlet, work done per second is equal to rho A V1 multiplied by VW1 U1 only. There is no VW2 component because it is 0 when the flow is radial discharge at outlet when beta equal to 90 degrees. Correct? Further efficiencies to find out of Francis turbine. In the similar way as we did for Pelton mill, here also different efficiencies. If efficiency is not prefixed with any word, you are required to calculate hydraulic efficiency. Otherwise, particularly it will be given. Find out mechanical efficiency or find out overall efficiency or the value of mechanical efficiency is given as 96%, 85%, like that. If it is not mentioned that, then it is always hydraulic efficiency NH. Eta H is equal to power developed by the runner, that is P, and input power Pi. Therefore, hydraulic efficiency becomes W into Q divided by G multiplied by VW1 multiplied by U1 plus or minus VW2 U2 whole divided by input power is WQH, where H is the head available, Q is the discharge, W is the specific weight of water, G is acceleration due to gravity. The rest of the thing we are aware of it. However, VW1 is nothing but viral velocity at inlet, U1 is the peripheral velocity at inlet, VW2 is the viral velocity at outlet, U2 is the peripheral velocity at outlet, that is pi dn by 60. Therefore, ultimately, hydraulic efficiency we get VW1 multiplied by U1 plus or minus VW2 multiplied by U2 divided by GH. If you simplify, this WQ and this WQ vanishes. Is it right? Therefore, further, where H is, as I already said, net head available on turbine. Why it is used the term net head? Because H always, net head always will be equal to total head minus HF, loss of head due to friction. The next slide. In this slide we can see mechanical efficiency. Mechanical efficiency is given by shaft power divided by work done per second, or SP, shaft power divided by runner power. Shaft power is PS, power developed by runner is P, and similarly overall efficiency eta O is given by shaft power PS divided by input power Pi. Now, discharge through reaction turbine. In order to find out discharge through reaction turbine, in that case, Q is equal to, we know that area of flow that is nothing but pi multiplied by d2 multiplied by b2 multiplied by velocity of flow Vf2, that is at outlet. Q is equal to pi d1 b1 Vf1, Q is equal to pi d2 at multiplied by b2 into Vf2, that is at outlet, this is at inlet, where d1 is the diameter of outer ring, d2 is the diameter of inner ring, b1 is the width of the runner blades at inlet, b2 is the width of runner blades at outlet, Vf is flow of velocity at inlet, that is Vf1, Vf2 flow of velocity at outlet. Therefore, u1 peripheral velocity at inlet is equal to pi d1 multiplied by capital N by 60, where N is the speed in RPM. u2 is equal to pi d2 multiplied by capital N divided by 60. Here also N is in RPM, speed in RPM. Next, speed ratio Ku is equal to peripheral velocity at inlet divided by 2gh, u1 by root 2gh, where Ku is speed ratio. It ranges from 0.6 to 0.9. Usually it will be, these values will be given in the numerical problem in exam. If not, you have to calculate, or otherwise you can assume 0.6 to between 0.6 to 0.9. Flow ratio Kf is given by Vf1 under the Vf1 divided by under the root 2gh, where h is net head, where Kf is equal to flow ratio. It ranges from 0.15 to 0.30. Fourth one, ratio of width to diameter, that is small n, is equal to R1 divided by B1 divided by D1, where small n is equal to ratio of width to diameter, B1 by D1. It varies from 0.1 to 0.45. Is it clear? Next. Thank you. Today we will stop here. We will continue in the next class. Have a nice day. Please see all the figures, formulae once again whenever you find free time, today or tomorrow, hardly matters. But you have to keep on study. Then only it is possible to understand without any mistake. We will stop here today.